And welcome again to the big match. Today we should be featuring West Ham against Manchester United, and what a cliffhanger that turned out to be. Also Nottingham Forest against West Bromwich Albion and Sheffield United against Spurs. Three excellent games, and watching them with us will be Malcolm Allison, and he'll be commenting on them a little later on. Also today we take a look at your letters, something here for all you Hendon fans, and a preview of our series with the great Pele. And we shall see some remarkable ball juggling from the great man today, except that he does it with a grapefruit. All that's later on, but now let's get on into the action and make a start down in East London under rainy skies, which has left the pitch very heavy, for the game between West Ham and Manchester United, two famous clubs in such trouble at the foot of the table. For West Ham, there's more trouble. In addition to Bobby Moore, Brian Robson, John McDowell and Kevin Locke all injured, comes news that Trevor Brooking and Bobby Gould are also out. So this West Ham side is the one that went out of the cup to Hereford, with Alan Wooler continuing at 6, Pat Holland 10 and Bertie Lutton 9. Manchester United, now that George Best is missing again and on the transfer list, this just about represents their strongest side. There's been a little flurry of form from Lou Macari with 3 goals in the last 4 games. United need it. And from Brian Kidd, they need a repeat of the 2 goals he scored against West Ham at Old Trafford. Stuart Houston is their £50,000 signing from Brentford. And 2 of the newer faces in the West Ham side, Mick McGivern, the defender from Sunderland, and Graham Padden, now giving West Ham a lift in midfield, and they need that with these men out of action. As you can see, they're on the front bench there. On the left of the picture, the skipper, Bobby Moore. And as we go along, moving towards the right, you'll pick out Brian Robson, Trevor Brooking, John McDowell, and Bobby Gould is in the back there somewhere as well. They come in all sizes to see this game at West Ham. This is young Michael, and they come wearing all sorts of gear. The referee is Bob Perkins of Stafford.
So West Ham, the heart ripped out of their side through injuries, needing all the heart in the world to beat Manchester United, who, goodness knows, are struggling themselves here at Upton Park. Rather nasty challenge there, and a punch-up almost straight away between Bonds and Holton. Well, what a most undignified start there, and the referee will want to have a word with Holton within 15 seconds of the start. A clash between Billy Bonds and Jim Holton. The tackle by Holton, the referee deemed unfair and worthy of a stern talking to and nothing more, and a free kick to West Ham. Well, they are going to need heart if they're going to withstand that sort of challenge. Pat Holland. Best. And now Bonds again, surging forward to Lutton. Back for Bonds once more. 2 tackles there from Manchester United going in on Billy Bonds, and will it be a throw or will it be a free kick? Whatever it is, it's to West Ham, it's a free kick. Coleman with the free kick for West Ham. Hit lower this time. Lutton, a chance to chest it down across the goal. There was a deflection there too. And certainly the chances in this opening 5 minutes or so have gone Bertie Lutton's way. 1 or 2 little moments when the goal has opened up before him. Buckland and Forsyth. Lutton versus Forsyth. Wooler not given too much of a chance there because Greenoff was coming hard at him. Here's Morgan, stopped by McGivern. Forward this time, a nice flick away that time by Lutton for Wooler. And Wooler's got him across, and Stepney is out. Best looking West Ham move of the game so far. Tommy Docherty on the left of the picture. Chin in the hands. Billy Bonds doing the work for 2 men there, and Graham going hard at him, but Bonds beating him off and beating Willie Morgan off and beating Young off as well, and then finding Coleman on the right. Now it's with Pat. Lutton won't get to that one. Well, perhaps Coleman will, trying to turn it through. And there were certainly plenty of West Ham men up there. It just needed a touch. Van this game, but he's back with Lampard once more. Nottm not really able to get to that one. Morgan turning it inside this time for Brian Kidd. Forsyth. Morgan, Green off, leaving it for Forsyth. Offside in any case against Macari. That's Forsyth. West Ham had taken the kick for offside, but the referee said a goal kick. Nottm, Forsyth kicking wildly from behind again, and the referee is calling him to him. And he's feeling for the ball. Alex Forsyth will go into it. Well, he's been guilty of one or two rather crude tackles already this afternoon, and it's no more than justice. And maybe it'll be a warning to one or two others, because there's been a certain amount of bad feeling in this game so far. And Willie Morgan getting in on the scene as well, being well advised not to. So a free kick then to West Ham. Not a very good one. Holland with a chance to play it back for Coleman. Inside for Billy Bonds again. West Ham's throw. Billy Bonds now with the throw. Buchan's header. George Graham away. Now Macari against two West Ham defenders, McGibbon and Taylor. And McGibbon finally winning it and then losing it to Macari. Now this is a golden chance for Manchester United. Oh, and Kidd and Macari miss it up. What a chance for Manchester United, and a misunderstanding there. In any case, the whistle had gone. It must have been for the foul by Macari on McGibbon. Now Holland can lead the charge to the other end. Houston challenging him, and so too was Young. Play on, says the referee. Pat Holland not happy with the way he was brought down. Billy Bonds. Nottm. And now it's a booking there for Houghton for that challenge on Nottm. George Graham saying that a West Ham name should go in as well, but I don't see that. So Houghton. A rugged game without too much of the science that you've come to expect from West Ham and Manchester United, but both sides, there's so much pressure at the bottom of the table and not really the mood for calm, cultured football. Well, I don't think many West Ham fans have got too much to smile about, but Bobby Moore finds something. As the whistle goes for half-time, certainly a disappointing first half from two sides who've over the years produced so much, but really without one clear chance on goal and not too many moves that stay in the memory. Well, but there's a lot more which we hope will stay in the memory on the big match to come later on in the afternoon. But we have a half-time score here at Upton Park in this vital relegation match at the bottom of the First Division that reads West Ham United 0, Manchester United 0, and we'll bring you the second half in a couple of minutes. Welcome back then for the start of the second half, after a desperate first half where we were so low on fluent football. Indeed, I can't remember one clear and clean shot on goal. Let's hope that improves in the second half. Still 0-0. West Ham now attacking the goal to our right. Holland to Best, played back this time for Graham Paddon. Nottm trying to get it back for Paddon. Certainly looked a more business-like approach there by West Ham. Coleman being challenged by George Graham. Billy Bonds. Back this time for Taylor. McGiven. That was handball. It certainly looked a deliberate use of the arm there by Willie Morgan, but no harm done because West Ham won possession back and then lost it with a challenge there by Best on Holton. Martin Buchan's going to take it for Manchester United. Taylor's header. Again, a lot of distance with it. But in fact, falling to Houston for Manchester United. Macari. Oh, he turned inside Coleman beautifully there, Macari. And he's got Kidd waiting in the middle. Still with Macari. Back over his own head, and Day has got to come for it. Fought it well. Well, some nice play there by Lou Macari for Manchester United. And Buchan taking the safe way out, high into the roof of the stand. West Ham's throw. Got a feeling that Macari could well be the most dangerous player facing West Ham this afternoon. Best trying the same thing at the other end and it doesn't come off. But West Ham get a throw. Bonds will take it. And Taylor has come up there to join the attack. In first time there, and Wooler very nearly got in behind Greenoff, but West Ham got a corner. There is certainly a brisker approach about West Ham at the start of the second half, and their crowd sense it as well, and the atmosphere now really beginning to build up at Upton Park. Graham Paddon will take the corner. Taylor's made a run towards the near post. Bonds is in there too. Holton only half gets it away. Nottm tried to curl one there, but Greenoff finally getting it into touch. Bonds. Wooler right in there. Nottm tried to turn on it and he couldn't quite get enough room. Macari. Well, he just skipped wide of McGiven there, but Morgan couldn't keep it in. West Ham's throw again. McGiven. For Coleman. Oh, a bad ball there by Coleman, straight to Graham. Taylor in quickly for West Ham. There was an infringement there, giving West Ham the free kick. Buchan keeping his head well. Holton to Houston. Kidd inside for Graham. A little high on the back of Paddon there. Wooler, McGiven, Lampard. Stab forward for Nottm. McGiven, and this time Wooler. Went forward very well there, it didn't quite run for him. Manchester United substitute on the far side warming up, Sammy McElroy. Hoping to get on, no doubt. Good long throw there by Paddon. Holton was really stretching for that one. Best jumping well for it. Billy Bonds. Oh, a goal by Bonds and a beauty! What a superbly struck shot by Billy Bonds. As Best won it in the air, it came down for Bonds. Bang! And you've got to say that so often there seems to be no justice in football, but if anyone deserves a goal on the West Ham side this afternoon, it's got to be Billy Bonds. He's done the work of two men for the whole of the first half, and now he's set them alight so early in the second. West Ham's throw. So they're a little more relieved now on the West Ham bench. Two vital points would mean so much to them now. Coleman turned again towards Clyde Best. He won a good ball in the air to set it up for Billy Bond's shot. Now here's Coleman. And in they go again, and it might fall for Patton. No, it won't. Taylor. Wooler. Well, he's done well. He's almost shaken off Greenoff. And there's got to be a free kick there. Wooler getting a little involved there with Greenoff. And a free kick again to West Ham. Well, their heads are sagging a little bit there. Tommy Doherty with Tommy Kavanagh, the fair-haired man on the right. And it really is going to need a great effort by Manchester United to lift themselves with all the trouble they've had. Taylor with that shot, and that was no more than a couple of yards wide. So the West Ham crowd, anxious in the first half up on the North Bank there, beginning to love it now. But it's still just a one-goal lead, and that's a very slender lead. Houston. And it'll fall for Bonds again, given to him by Buchan. Played this time for Clyde Best. Pat Holland, leaving it for Graham Patton. What a good long throw that Patton's got, and it's forced George Graham to give away a corner. Taylor's already up in the area. But West Ham with 2, 4, 6 men up in that area now, including Wooler, who didn't quite get a touch. There's Clyde Best, hitting one through, and a fine save that time by Stepney. Best caught that well with a minimum of backlift, and a lovely flying save by Alex Stepney. Kidd to Houston, planted forward to Macari. He's got a lot of space there, and in comes Holland. Little touch off there, neatly finding Coleman. Bonds. It's Brian Kidd who's going off. So they've replaced one striker directly with another one. Brian Kidd, whose 2 goals at Old Trafford helped to give Manchester United a 3-1 win over West Ham in September. Not had the most successful of seasons since, and indeed he hasn't scored since then. Now going off, and McElroy is on. Now this could be an interesting situation. 1 against 1, except that now Manchester United have 2 men back. Buchan back to Stepney. Billy Bonds, nice bit of play there between Bonds and Holland. And again, as Holland takes it up by score for West Ham. And across that goal again, almost from the same angle that finally pierced the Hereford defence last week. But although it bobbled on Stepney's chest, he managed to retrieve it safely. Houston, carefully there. And now Buchan. Taylor's header. Not quite directed the way he wanted it. But now Wooler. Oh, and here's a chance for McElroy. And it's a goal for Manchester United. Scored by the substitute Sammy McElroy. The mistake coming in the first place by Wooler. The ball going straight to McElroy. And his shot, although Jay got a hand to it, in it goes, and that's 1-1. opens it up again. It had to be, I think, a defensive mistake that led Manchester United through. Certainly their attack had really looked very impressive. It didn't look as though they could ever achieve maybe a moment of brilliance that would open up the West Ham defence. And indeed it was the mistake, the bad pass there by Alan Muller. No reaction from the Manchester United bench. They may well know there are a few more crises to suffer this season yet. Now Muller trying to get the better of Greenoff and succeeding in the end, and away he goes until Holton comes there and passes it way up in row E. A great deal of finesse about Jim Holton, but not too many things get past him. So Patton will take another throw. Clyde Best again at the near post for him. Wooler is in there, so too is Bonds. And it came in the end to Martin Buchan for Manchester United. Only Macari is up for United, being supported now by McElroy in the middle. Still with Macari. Turning Coleman one way and the other. They've now got 4 players up, Manchester United. Still with Macari. And there's a shot by Young, which somehow or other, Day with his feet got away. He really powered that Young. Tremendous shot. And Day, as goalkeepers say, very foot conscious. It looks lucky, but it's a part of his armoury. Gets it away with his feet. Now, a corner then to Manchester United. Oh, and Day didn't quite get to that one, but no harm done for West Ham as Holland takes it up for them. Got Best inside, then past Young. Buchan desperately trying to keep up with him. That'll be a free kick. So a free kick to West Ham. Really, there has been a lack of finesse about the game, but what it's lacked in finesse, it's more than made up for simply by the sheer tension of the afternoon. There's two sides in such trouble. Not a very good header there by Holton. Patton turning it in again and then stepping. Given. Manchester United's throw. Back for Morgan. Got Graham in the middle. He's got Young in the middle. He's got Greenoff in the middle as well. That's George Graham, and it very nearly came through for him. A good piece of defence by Billy Bonds. And Graham is an exceptional header of the ball. If Bonds hadn't just got the touch, that would have been 2-1. And it could still be 2-1. All saved on the line and kicked away that time by Tommy Taylor. As Greenoff went roaring in there, made a good connection. Somehow Day stopped it on the line and it was kicked away by Taylor. So West Ham having a little bit of the luck there. And again Holton has gone right up for this corner. The pendulum has begun to swing Manchester United's way. Holton right in that 6-yard area, and this could be it. No, somehow again is scrambled away. Because Day went roaring out for that one, completely missed it with his fist, I think put off by Holton, or the presence of Holton, and somehow again it was scrambled away. Again there is Holton there, making life very awkward indeed for the young West Ham goalkeeper. Because with Best marking him is not only Holton, but Best there right in front of Day. And here comes another corner, played in close once more, and that time a marvellous save by Day from Macari. Well, Macari had always looked dangerous, and that was a superb close-range save by Mervyn Day. Buchan. Manchester United now looking more dangerous than any time in this game. There's Macari off once more. Still not away. And Taylor might get him into trouble. He's only got it as far as Young now. Here's Willie Morgan with Forsyth making the overlap. Still with Morgan, right foot shot, cleared by Coleman. Forsyth trying to bang it in. This time back for Holton. Padden getting that one away. Everybody bar Stepney now well inside the West Ham half of the field. Wooler back to Day. Day, who likes to throw the short one this time to Bonds. Oh, it was never going to get to Clyde Best. And away goes McElroy again, helped by a defensive error once more. Onto the left foot, and a goal, no! Macari, no! Well, West Ham would only have had themselves to blame for that, because a poor pass in the first place gave them possession, and McElroy very, very nearly made them pay for it again. So somehow the scoreline remains 1-1. And it's a goal kick then to West Ham. Graham. United now looking really dangerous. Their confidence is growing now every moment in these last quarter of an hour. Lampard. Hit towards Wooler, and Holton gives away the corner. In fact, there are just 7 minutes left now. Taylor's gone up, with McElroy going back. The crowd are giving West Ham all they can. Bonds tries to get it, there's a header there, yes! The goal is given, and it goes to Pat Holland. West Ham in the lead again, with 7 minutes to go. The corner came over, Holland made the contact, and Best, who was on the goal line, ducked and put off everybody. So West Ham 2, Manchester United 1, Pat Holland, who scored the saving goal last week against Hereford, gets in with a vital one again this week. So the children really should know better. They really should leave their enthusiasm behind the sidelines. There are 2 or 3 of them on the pitch now. Silly little boys. Now getting off it. And here's McElroy. McGibbon challenging hard, and a goal kick to West Ham. Anxious moments for everybody, even if you've played more than 100 times for England. You're skipper of West Ham. Can West Ham hold on for these 2 minutes that are left now, as Buchan takes it up this time for Manchester United? It comes to Macari, and a shot by Macari again, well saved by Day. One thing about Macari, when he shoots, he's on target, and that time Day was equal to it. 3 goals in the last 4 games Lou Macari scored. On my watch now, inside the last 2 minutes, about a minute and a half. Now it's with Bonds, and he left it for Macari. Morgan for Manchester United, fighting for all he's worth in these last seconds of the game that means so much. Macari again, stop this time, and into the middle again it goes. Greenoff is getting in there. Can West Ham still hang on these last few seconds? It's Forsyth, and West Ham with everybody back. But now Best, with a chance now to ease the pressure on his defence. Going on still, Clyde Best. Stopped eventually by Young. And we've played 30 seconds of injury time. Both linesmen have confirmed to the referee that in their book the time is up. Referee looking at his watch again. And West Ham have won by 2 goals to 1. Billy Bonds, the man who really deserves victory on this day, and the man who scored the first goal for West Ham. Pat Holland scored the second one, there he goes. And Sammy McElroy, between those two, gave Manchester United a little bit of hope that in the end came to nothing. Two vital points then for West Ham United at the bottom of the First Division, and a final scoreline as the children again in jubilation come onto the Upton Park pitch. A final scoreline that reads West Ham United 2, Manchester United 1.
Yes, what a finish it was. The West Ham manager, Ron Greenwood, said afterwards it really was a triumph for West Ham spirit. I'm not at all sure that he was entirely happy with the technical aspect of that game, but it really was a bit of a cliffhanger, Malcolm Allison.
Yes, I thought that it was a really entertaining game. You know, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure that everybody there enjoyed it. It was a very difficult place, very difficult pitch to play on. You know, it was very lumpy and bumpy, and probably never suited West Ham. But they battled away, and I thought that Billy Bonds was really tremendous yesterday.
Isn't that sort of spirit of Billy Bonds, is that infectious? Would that run right through the West Ham side yesterday, do you think?
Well, the way he played yesterday, it had to. And this does, definitely. I mean, when you get a player play like he did, you know, where he's determined, here he is now, you see him in the middle of the park. You watch it where he picks up and he really runs at the United defence, lays the ball out to the left-hand side there. And you see him get it back here again, look up again, then play another ball with his right foot. Very accurate ball in the box. And then this ball's knocked away again, and you see him up in the air competing again. He's had the ball 3 times in about 5 seconds. There's a situation here developing where the ball will be crossed into the box, and you'll see the excellent marking of Billy Bonds. There. Now, he's in the 6-yard box, and he's within a foot of ground. That's what they call marking. That's good marking. There's a throw in here, Padden. You see Padden pointing to Morgan. Morgan turns away to the referee, and Padden takes the throw. You see Holton here get up and knock the ball away. Doesn't really get it away. Knocks it up fairly high, and you see Best challenge for it. And there's Bonds again, number 4, waiting, and he really hits this with his left foot. But you see Houston turn his back, and you see Holton turn their backs on that ball, but it goes in the bottom corner of the net. That was a bad defensive play by Manchester United. Look at that enthusiasm those West Ham players around Billy Bonds.
Just wonder how far that enthusiasm can take them. I mean, it obviously won them the game yesterday. But what about Manchester United? A lot of people came away very depressed about them, but I think you, looking at it today, saw 1 or 2 signs there, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought that Macari was very good yesterday, and I felt that, you know, they deserved, on the chances, they deserved to win yesterday.
Macari played well.
Oh, excellent. I mean, he was really sharp, and he really caused West Ham a lot of problems.
And McElroy made a difference when he came on.
Yeah, McElroy is a player that Matt Busby said is one of the finest young players he's ever had, and Matt Busby believes he's going to be a great star. And he took his chance well yesterday, and he also almost scored again.
But there were moments when they looked very disorganised, I thought, Manchester United, Malcolm, both in terms of attack and defence.
They were hesitant, and I mean, they won't win games with doing things like they were doing yesterday in defence. But here's Macari here competing, really competing with McGivern, I think it is. He gets inside him there, they both fouled each other. He takes it away, and you see Brian Kidd appear here. Now, Brian Kidd was going to hit that ball, but changed his mind, and the coordination between Macari and Kidd wasn't very good there.
This
is Hollins here. Now, this is what I call bad marking. You see that Manchester United defender's about 4 yards, 3 or 4 yards off of Holland. Hollins heads the ball, and it goes over the top of Holton, and you see Best up there, and it goes between Forsyth and Stepney. It's in the back of that. That's the winning goal. That's the difference between the marking of Manchester United and Billy Bonds.
Yeah.
Billy Bonds had to be on the winning side, you know, because of the things he did yesterday.
An obvious question, Malcolm, and a quick answer. Relegation prospects for both West Ham and Manchester United now?
Well, I thought, looking at Manchester United yesterday, they might get out of it. But it's a tremendous battle for them. If West Ham get their players back in the next 3 or 4 days, you know, if they get 2 or 3 of their players back for the weekend, then I think that West Ham got a good chance of getting out.
One thing I must draw to your attention, which you've obviously seen already in today's News of the World, the back page headline, Osgood is all set for Palace. What does the Crystal Palace manager say about that?
Well, actually, I spoke to Dave Sexton on Friday, and he told me that Derby County had first option on him. But I said that if he never went to Derby County, I'd speak to David on Monday morning. And I've spoken to my chairman about it, and I'm going to speak to Dave tomorrow.
Do you feel you've got a real chance of signing Peter Osgood?
Yes, I think so. I think that although we're in the position that we're in, you know, I think that Peter really wants to stay in London, and I just hope so anyway. And we'll see what Dave says tomorrow.
Malcolm Allison, thanks very much indeed. Our next game today is one that has a real bearing on the promotion race in Division 2, and it's Nottingham Forest against West Bromwich Albion. Both clubs setting out yesterday in the top half dozen in that division. The pictures come from ATV. The commentators Hugh Johns. Nottingham Forest are in the plain dark shirts.
Glover. Well won by Bowyer. It's Cantello's ball, now Johnson. Winfield, a gift! An absolute gift! Tony Brown putting Albion ahead. A terrible mistake then. 1-0 Albion. 10 minutes of the game gone. Sammy Chapman breaking out for Forest. Mackenzie. Going against Nisbet. Did a lot of hard work then. It was Glover who got his knee in the way to knock the ball clear. Lyle. Mackenzie. He's got a shot on. And he's got a goal on. 1-1. And 19 minutes of the first half gone. 9 minutes then. After Brown puts Albion in front, Mackenzie gets the equaliser. And Duncan Mackenzie in that explosive moment showed exactly why so many clubs want him. Deadly as soon as he gets inside the box and on target. Glorious control and a fierce shot. Barron's Bog is what they're christening that goal mouth now. Good punch forward. Barron under it. Has lost it. One back by Brown. No, it's not. It's not away yet. Hartford's nobody in goals. Brown. And they're punished. Albion punished Forest as Brown gets his second goal. 36 minutes of the first half. And it's 2-1 now. Brown having scored both the goals. And there was a perfect case of the Forest defence getting itself in yet another tangle on that occasion. Starting off with Barron losing the ball outside his box, not getting it clear. The ball coming back, a delicate dummy by Shaw. Brown then in with the open goal chance again. O'Kane forward for Lyle. Ambitious because players can't really make quick pace on this very, very muddy ground, very heavy ground. Johnston trying to get away from O'Kane. Good ball. Cantello wide to his right. Glover. Brown and Shaw in the box. And the shot is on for Hartford. And it's in for Brown's hat-trick. Tony Brown's hat-trick, 2 minutes into the second half. A stroke of luck then, as Tony Brown gets his second hat-trick in consecutive games. He still can't believe it. Tony Brown. Glover. Tony Brown off on a run and he's onside. He's on for his fourth. And he is going to trickle in. Fourth goal, Tony Brown. Tony Brown, 19 minutes into the second half, and that surely is curtains now. And Forest just stood and watched as Tony Brown ran almost the length of the field to knock in his fourth goal. 4-1 the score.
West Bromwich Albion making a remarkable recovery after a bad start to the season, now lying 5th in the second division. And now on the programme, it's time for your letters. And first of all this week, a quite remarkable piece of correspondence I've had from Miss Kay Williams of 12 Kings Farm Avenue, Richmond in Surrey, who has written please no fewer than 25,000 times back and front of all these pieces of paper. Please, 25,000 times to try and persuade us to show her the cup tie goal scored by Arsenal's Pat Rice at Reading a couple of seasons ago. How can we refuse? Kay, you must want to see it pretty badly, so here we go.
Death losing the ball. I'm not surprised with Ray Kennedy pounding in on him. Rice hitting a good one. Oh, a great goal! Pat Rice.
It's a lovely goal. I hope, Kay, that the effort was well worth it. I've also had a whole lot of letters, as you could expect this week, from Hendon fans. All of them want to see the goals from that 1-1 draw against Newcastle at St James's Park last week. Alan Francis of 122A Pinner Road, Northwood in Middlesex. Keith Morris of 44 The Ridgeway, London NW11. Simon Davis of 8 Sunny Hill, Hendon. They were some of them who were really disappointed. But Mr Peter Lush of 4 Harmon Drive, London NW2, felt much more strongly than that. He was disgusted that we didn't show it. He thought it was disgraceful. He felt indeed that Newcastle against Hendon should have been the main match and that we really should apologise for our sad, sad error. Well, if Mr Lush had cared to check with our office before his fury ran away with him, he'd have found out that we couldn't have shown Newcastle against Hendon last week under the terms of our contract with the Football Association. We were allowed to show only the 3 games that we did show. But for all you Hendon supporters, including Mr Lush, it gives us great pleasure now to bring you that magnificent 1-1 draw at Newcastle last week. Newcastle in stripes.
Cut out by Phillips. He's played well at centre-half for Hendon. MacDonald trying a long throw. Header there! A beautiful header by Pat Howard. The long throw coming from Malcolm MacDonald. Howard rose high in the air and headed it across Nottm. As usual, Hendon's free kick to be taken by Tony Jennings, their right back. Well won there by Baker, and header! He scored! He scored! Hendon have equalised, and deservedly so.
Well, Newcastle, of course, won the replay at Watford, but they, and everyone who saw them indeed, came away most impressed with the quality of Hendon's play. But now it's time for Pele. And starting next week, we shall be showing you a superb instructional series in which the master, in beautiful Brazilian sunshine, goes through the basics of the game. I think if you're a youngster, you must learn something from it. If you're an oldster, I'm sure you're going to admire his skill. And as for the mums, well, that sunshine in Brazil is quite marvellous. Here is a little Pele preview. And watch out for that juggling with the grapefruit.
Santos Football Club, 1972. Pele was a boy of 16 when he first played for Santos in 1956. He stayed with Santos throughout his career as his fame grew, as he became the greatest player in the history of soccer. From his first game, Pele was a star. And more than that, he was a team player, because he knew he was only one man out of 11, sharing one aim to get that ball into the opponent's goal. The moment the fans wait for. They wait tensely, like these in the streets of Rio de Janeiro, watching the 1970 World Cup final 4,500 miles away in Mexico City's Aztec Stadium. They wait expectantly as they begin to sense the excitement growing. A moment of almost breathless suspense. Then it happens. Gerson, an unstoppable 20-yard shot. Brazil are ahead thanks to Gerson's thunderous left foot shot. But a goal belongs to the fans as well as the players. And in a moment, the Aztec Stadium has spread itself 4,500 miles to the streets of Rio. But even for Pele, there was a time when the ball didn't always obey him. It was only hours of lonely practice as a boy that gave him this skill. Often he had no real soccer ball to practice with. He had to make do with whatever he could. Maybe a ball of old rags tied with string. Or sometimes it was a grapefruit. right, you say, but you don't see Pele juggling a grapefruit or even a ball for minutes on end during a game. So what is the point of learning a skill that can never be used when it matters? Well, ball juggling is full of essential soccer skills. Put them all together, and practice becomes the game.
And next week, Pele opens his series for us with The Art of Shooting. And when you remember it brought him more than 1,000 goals in his tremendous career, he really obviously has something that is very worth watching. Also worth watching, our last match today. It's the thriller from Bramall Lane, Sheffield, where Sheffield United were facing Spurs. Yorkshire Television were there. The commentator is Keith Macklin, and Spurs are in the plain shirts.
Covers the position. Beale. Pratt has a fair amount of room. Wood was having to go back to take him. Throw to Tottenham Hotspur. Or is this the Chivers long one? Peters. Coates turning. What a goal! Oh, what a beauty. Stupendous effort. The Chivers long throw. The back header by Peters. And with McGrath and Coates both there, it was Coates who steadied it and hit a peach of a left foot shot. Pratt. Good tackle by Badger, sets Woodward up. The two men are coming to take him. Good effort. Again Beale. Hemsley. Badger. Flicked for Curry. Kamak, handball. Mr. Lee says ball to hand. There's Chivers, Badger, Curry. Curry going well. Well, now where was that? The Spurs players say it's a penalty. The Spurs players said outside the area and are convinced it was outside the area. Curry fell in the penalty area, and Mr. Lee's decision, I think after consulting a linesman, is that it is a penalty, and the Spurs players convinced it was 6 inches outside the area. Mr. Lee will have none of it. He spent a few seconds deliberating, looked towards his linesman, has now made his decision and will abide by it. So a penalty it is. Well, is it Curry or Woodward who's going to take this? Woodward the most like... No, Eddie by the looks of it. Keith Eddie. The crowd making a tremendous din. They're wondering whether in fact Woodward or Curry should take it. But somebody's going to hit it, and it looks like Keith Eddie. A goal, 1-1. Well, there'll be a long debate about that all weekend. Tottenham Hotspur will claim that that foul was committed outside the penalty area, that Tony Curry fell inside the area. But what matters is that Mr. Ralph Lee ruled that it was a penalty. Keith Eddie has scored, and it's 1-1. Well, that's put some air in the lungs of the Bramall Lane supporters. Curry. Kamak. A goal! 2-1, 2 in a minute. Kamak. Well, quite incredible. Within a minute, Sheffield United looking very much aside on the run, with Spurs 1 up. Chivers flicked on to Coates. Ralph Coates and Salmons. Peters. Flynn. Flynn finally working his way out with it, but the ball was out of play. Well, 2 seasons ago when these sides met, it was 2-1 and a long throw from Chivers brought a goal for the equaliser. And here is Pratt. McGrath, it's there. It crept in off a defender's toe. McGrath was the man who hit it. It hit a defender's toe and just crept past the stranded Norttm into the net. But history repeats itself.
And that's how it finished, 2-2. But what about that Spurs penalty, the one that was given against them? They clearly felt that it was outside the area. The referee thought it was inside. Malcolm.
Well, I felt that John Pratt challenged Tony Curry just outside the area, but as they take another 2 or 3 strides, you see Tony Curry force himself into the box, just fractionally inside the box, when John Pratt fetches him down. I think the referee was quite right, giving the penalty. I like to see the forwards get the benefit of the doubt anyway, because we're going to see more goals.
So according to Malcolm then, the referee was right on both counts. That's it. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Remember, though, On the Ball and the big match next weekend, and when we shall also be, of course, be having the first of our Pele films, not to be missed. We leave you today, though, with that moment when justice was done sweetly at West Ham yesterday, when Billy Bonds, the man who'd inspired his side, got his name on the score sheet and helped the Hammers to an important victory.
Good long throw there by Padden. Holton was really stretching for that one. Best jumping well for it. Billy Bonds. Oh, a goal by Bonds!